Hi, and welcome back. Last time we were talking about the past tense of digital publishing, and now I would like to talk about the present tense. Might be so bold as to suggest that pink is no longer the new black, but orange is now, I guess, the new black, so we have to keep up. And I'm not sure who came up with 60 is the new 40, maybe the online dating industry or someone, but there are a number of uh, such syllogisms which ring true, and one of them that I'd like to just go ahead and stone cold confirm today is that $1 is the new free. There are plenty of other internet based catchphrases. Content is the new king, post is the new print, streaming is the new downloading, publish is the new post, share is the new send, collaborate is the new control, yada 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 is the new blah blah blah. And therefore, I can conclude that articles are the new books. In fact, charticles are the new books, if you know what I mean by charticle, which is a very, very short article about a very, very simple chart. You can make ebooks today out of nothing because they fit, hundreds of them, thousands of them fit on one device instead of an entire building's worth of shelves. In fact, this has created a flipped economy, if you will, where bookstores are the new libraries. Bookstores, if you've been in one lately, those that are still in place, are jammed with people buying and selling and talking about and touching and feeling books. And libraries these days are more about the books that they have on the shelf are almost museum pieces, in that most of the people studying and using the facilities of a library are using electronic resources. Libraries, let's just say, are the new bookstores. If bookstores are the new libraries, the library at Wake Forest University, for example, has a Starbucks just like the Barnes & Noble down the street has a Starbucks. And in fact, borrowing is now the new buying. You can borrow books from Amazon.com just as easily as you can buy them from Amazon.com, and maybe even easier than you can borrow them from your library. Internet publishing has prompted an explosion of books. I think we talked about this already, whereas a few years ago there were maybe 250,000 new books published a year. Now there are 15 million books presumably published in 2012. That's a huge jump in production and capacity, enabling buyers and maybe sellers to revel in what is undoubtedly the golden age of ebooks today. Major authors are retaining control of their content by publishing titles themselves rather than the publisher having the power. I think that authors and content creators can control the power through digital publishing in ways that they could not prior. Maybe they don't get paid as much. Maybe you don't get paid, maybe you don't have as many sales. Maybe you don't need as many sales. But some books can sell tens of thousands of copies in a week, whereas a traditionally published printed book, if you have tens of thousands of copies sold, you're a bestseller. Ebooks have changed that. At $1.99, let's say, you can sell a lot more books and still get a decent commission. Uh, what's interesting is how the book covers uh, can uh, prompt sales online just as well as a nice book cover can on the bookshelf store. This is a classic example used by our friends at smashwords.com, a frankly kind of boring looking book called Playing for Keeps by R.L. Mathewson. Sold well until it changed to the cover on the right, and can you guess what happened? It jumped up way up to literally, overnight when that new cover was displayed. So it's easy to do, it's fast to do, it can be fun to do, and ebooks and ebook publishing can make that happen. And it does make it happen. 50 Shades of Grey has sold more copies, I think this is still true, of any book published ever. Most people, when asked what's the best-selling title of all time, will say the Bible, because it's had centuries and potential sales, and everybody has a Bible back in the day. Now, everybody has a copy of 50 Shades of Grey, like it or not. Maybe they didn't read it, but they bought it, and they could look at it without maybe showing it to the creepy guy behind the counter at the bookstore, and maybe if you didn't like it, you only spent $1 on it. So these kinds of self-published titles, which is what 50 Shades of Grey originated as, are booming in ways that your traditional content creator may not even realize. The libraries and bookstores and consumers and scholars and researchers have to contend with these now suddenly millions and millions of new titles, and it's a trick, and yet collecting that content and publishing it themselves is highly possible through some friendly new platforms that libraries and publishers are exploring. We've got one at Wake, and we'll talk about this in a later session, but we can publish ebooks quickly and well from a variety of content creators. In fact, we're going to try publishing our book, our ZSRx digital publishing book, on this platform in a way just to demonstrate that you can do it overnight and sell copies of this book to your fans or your mom or your class or your constituents in ways that other publishers more tightly control. Curation then becomes the new editing. With so much content at our fingertips, literally, it is up to the content creator often enough to do the editing. The distributor is the one faced with creating the metadata and organizing the subject matter in a way that makes it discoverable by an audience. The audience, often enough, is those folks that create the content themselves, buyers and sellers. If you remember Brood 2 of the Cicadas, if you remember what cicadas do, in any case, is they stay underground for 17 years and then they come to life and make a lot of noise, not unlike college students or your other hipsters, let's call them, who've got lots of content at their disposal suddenly and are seeking and can often find now a small, maybe, but targeted audience quickly and well. Those folks sometimes can make money selling their books in ways that your Charles Dickens from back in the day had to really struggle to do. we are going to give you all of these links and such at a later date or within this very module itself. And we will walk you through how to create our own ebooks, basically out of nothing, in a future lesson. Thank you.